we will start from very basics, some basic concepts of chemistry. As you know, chemistry in our day-to-day life, it is very important. Like we need medicine, so we use basically different types of medicines for different disease. That is all about chemistry. Now we will start from matter. What is matter? We already studied about it in class 9th. Anything which occupies a space, anything in this world or in this universe which occupy a space and have some mass, that is called matter. Anything which occupy some space and have some mass is called matter. So for example, like air, chair, sugar, smell. Pick one of which one of the following is matter and which one of the following is not matter. Can you unmute your audio, Arsalan? Okay. Then you can write it in chat box. Here are 4 options: air, chair, sugar, and smell. Which one of the following is not matter? In these 4 options, which one of the following is not matter? Smell. Exactly, because we see air is what? Gas occupy a space and have some mass. Chair also occupy. Sugar, it also occupy space and have some mass. Smell is just not matter because it doesn't occupy space and it doesn't have any mass. Okay. Now we will classify matter in 2 parts. Siddhant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you just joined or you?
Sir, just joined.
Okay. Here we are discussing about first chapter, some basic concepts of chemistry. In this, we are discussing about matter. We already know about matter from class 9th. Anything which occupies space and have some mass is called matter. And here are some examples: air, chair, and sugar. And smell is not matter because it doesn't occupy space and it doesn't have any mass. That's why it is not matter. And here it is sugar, chair, and air is matter. Now we will classify this matter into 2 categories. So here matter is classified into 2 categories: physical classification and chemical classification. Chemical classification. Physical classification further divided into 3 parts: solid, liquid, and gas. Physical classification actually is like that we can feel it physically and we can absorb changes. Uh, uh, we can absorb changes that observe changes. That is called physical classification. And chemical classification is like when we mix 1 or 2 more things to produce a new product and mix 2 or more substances to form a new product or new substance. That is called chemical classification. Physical classification further divided into solid, liquid, and gases. Here are the differences between solid, liquid, and gases. What is who is responsible for the physical state, solid, liquid, and gases? Siddhant?
Yes, sir.
What makes a matter solid, liquid, or gas? Do you have any answer about this?
No, sir.
Arsalan? Actually, if I'm taking an example of anything like just say chair, because I already took it as an example. Chair is in solid, liquid, or gas?
Solid.
Solid. Why it is in solid? Just take water in liquid, it is in liquid. Why it is in liquid state? And gas, just take an example of CO2. Why CO2 is in generally it is in gaseous state? The state, physical state, 1 minute, let me change the slide. Just see, for the physical state, only one thing is responsible, majorly only one thing is responsible, that is intermolecular forces of attraction. Intermolecular force, we can say only intermolecular force of attraction is responsible for the physical state, that determines it is solid or liquid or gas. Majorly it is responsible, intermolecular forces of attraction. In solid, the intermolecular forces of attraction is maximum or very high, whereas in liquid state, intermolecular forces of attraction is moderate, and in gaseous state, intermolecular forces of attraction is very, very less. That's why in solid state, the particles in solid are bonded with intermolecular forces of attraction. They are very, very close. That's why they are in solid. Or in liquid state, they are moderately the force of attraction between particles are moderate. That's why they are slightly away from each other. That's why they are in liquid state. And in gaseous state, they are very, very far away from each other, the particles in gaseous state. That's why they are in gaseous state. Is that clear? Who is responsible for the physical state? Intermolecular forces of attraction. A lot of other factors are also responsible, like temperature and pressure, but here it is majorly intermolecular forces of attraction. Now, solids. What is solid? Anything or any substance which has definite shape as well as definite volume, that is called solid. We can also say, what about liquid? Definite volume, it is definite volume but not definite shape. Just take an example of solid. I'm taking the example of solid as chair. It will the volume of chair will be fixed and the shape of chair will be also fixed until or unless you don't pressurize it, or otherwise it will change its shape. What about gas? Neither fixed volume nor fixed shape. Now we will come to liquid. Liquid, just take an example. Take 1 liter of water and keep it in bottle. The volume will be 1 liter, but the shape of water will be like bottle. And if you are just keeping it in bucket, the volume will be 1 liter, which is fixed, but the shape of water will be like bucket. Is that clear about the liquid?
Yes, sir.
Now come to gas. Just take an example of LPG cylinder, liquefied petroleum gas. It is in shape of cylinder generally, and if you just took it to your room and open it, then the volume of gas will be equal to your volume of room, because the forces of attraction between gaseous molecules are very, very less, so it will spread all over the room. That's why the volume of gas will be equal to volume of your room, and the shape of gas, initially it is in cylindrical form, but after spreading it will be its shape will be just like your room. Okay, Siddhant,
Yes,
Arsalan,
sir.
is that clear about gas? The volume and shape are not fixed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just write this: definite, definite, not definite, neither fixed nor fixed shape, neither fixed volume nor fixed shape. Done.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay, now come to the next topic, which is chemical classification. Chemically, matter are classified into two parts. Chemical classification. They are classified into two parts. One is pure substances, and the other is mixtures. First, we will discuss about mixture. Mixtures further divided into two parts: homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture. And for pure substances are further divided into element, molecule, and compound. Just write it and then we will discuss about mixture. Done. Done, Arsalan.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. Just move to the second topic. Mixture. What is mixture? Mixture is when we mix one or more substances, more than two substances, two or more than two substances in any proportion. There is no fixed proportion. Mixture is two or more substances mix with each other. Mix with each other in any proportion. In any proportion. This will be the best point to differentiate or distinguish between compound and mixture. Mixture are something that we can mix anything in any proportion, that is mixture, and compound is always mixed in a fixed proportion. Okay, Siddhant.
Yes, sir.
Now, whenever we make compound, the initial one that we mixed is entirely different from the product. Okay, just like if we are making water from hydrogen and oxygen, and it will be water. So here the properties of hydrogen is entirely different from water, and the properties of oxygen is also entirely different from water. Now what about mixture? When we mix, just suppose we are mixing sugar plus water, that is equal to sugar solution, and we can mix it in any proportion. If you change this the proportion between hydrogen and oxygen, the product will be changed. But in mixture, there is no any fixed proportion. If you want to add water in 5 liter of water, if you want to add 500 gram water, no problem. If you want to add 100 gram sugar, if you want to add 500 gram of sugar, you can. If you want to add 100 gram water, 100 gram sugar you can add. And here it will be sugar solution, and in sugar solution you can taste both the water, you can taste the taste of water as well as sugar. Okay, then you cannot say that it is the sugar solution will be entirely different from sugar, and sugar solution is entirely different from water. But in compound, the product formed is entirely different from the individual reactants. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just write the definition of mixture and we will discuss how many types of mixtures are there. Two types, homogeneous, heterogeneous. We have already read about it in class 9th, homogeneous and what is heterogeneous. If it is done, then tell me. Okay. Done.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. Now come to the further division of mixture, which is homogeneous mixture. For the definition, I am writing it. The mixture in which the mixture which is uniform throughout. That mixture is called uniform. If you want to recognize which is homogeneous and which is heterogeneous, just remember it and understand it, the concept. Any mixture which has phase equals to 1 is homogeneous mixture. And what does this phase means? Phase means if you are mixing sugar in water and stir it for some time, you will see a single phase. Like if you want to see, you cannot differentiate that where is water and where is sugar, because sugar is dissolved in this. Okay, so then from top to bottom it will look like same. That is called phase equals to 1. And whenever a mixture has phase equals to 1, it will be homogeneous mixture. Just take another example. If I am mixing milk in water, you cannot differentiate that where is milk and where is water. It will look like same from top to bottom, and here the phase will be equal to 1, and it is homogeneous mixture. Now come to the second division, that is heterogeneous mixture. For the definition, we can write the mixture which is not uniform throughout. The mixture which is not uniform throughout. The mixture which is not uniform throughout is called heterogeneous mixture, and in this phase is greater than 1. If you want to mix sand in water, then you will see in the bottom part that sand is present. It is like water is here, everywhere water, but here the sand will be present and it will have 2 phases. from top to bottom, in between from top to bottom, it will have two phase. In the bottom part, it will look like sand, and after that water. Then it has two phase greater than one, which is if it has greater than one phase, then it will be heterogeneous. If you want to take another example, just take another example, like you are mixing H2O, mustard oil and petrol. It will arrange in three different layers according to their densities, and you can easily differentiate that where is water, where is petrol, and where is mustard oil. According to the density, they will arrange themselves, and here the phase is greater than 1, which is equal to 3, and it will be heterogeneous mixture. Got it? Siddhant?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you have any doubt about this, then tell me so that I can explain it in more words.
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay, just write it and tell me to change the slide. And we will move to the next topic, pure substances, element, molecule, and compound. Very good, Arsalan. Siddhant.
Sir, 1 minute, right?
Okay, okay. You take your time. I'll just ask you.
Yes, sir, done.
Very good. Just move to the next part, pure substances. Pure substances has further classification about element, to element. Okay, what is element? You have seen periodic table, everything on it is element. Element is made up of single atoms, like hydrogen an element because it is made up of a single atom, hydrogen, helium, lithium, gold, silver, sodium. It is all element is made up of single atom. Okay, got it, Siddhant?
Yes, sir, got it.
Now come to the next, molecule. Just see, same element combined to form molecule. You see, you have seen periodic table is like this. Oh, sorry. Periodic table is like this. And here you have, you might have heard about 18th group. Do you know, Siddhant, about 18th group?
sir.
Arsalan, yes or no? I didn't get you. Siddhant, do you hear about 18th group?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Actually, periodic table is divided into 18th group. The horizontal rows are called period, and the vertical rows are vertical column are called what is it? What it is called? Rows. Vertical. What it is called? Rows or column? Siddhant.
Yes, sir.
The part we have divided like this is called rows or column.
Sir, that is rows.
This is rows, no?
Yes, sir. That is rows and this is column.
Which is column, the horizontal one or the vertical one?
Sir, the horizontal.
The horizontal. Okay. Periodic table are divided like in horizontal there are 7 rows, which is called period, and in vertical column divided into 18th part, that is called group. Here 18th group like helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon are present, that are called noble gases. Noble gases. And noble gases are highly stable. Have you heard of it? Stability. Yes or no, Siddhant? Siddhant.
Yes, sir. I have heard.
Okay.
Actually,
Stable.
it is unstable.
Yes, stable and unstable. Actually, all the elements in the periodic table want to achieve a stability like noble gases. Like noble gases. And how we define a stability is like helium has 2 elements, two electron in its outermost shell. Then if any elements from the periodic table achieve this configuration, fulfilled configuration, then it will be stable. Neon 2,8, argon 2,8. Except hydrogen, every element in the periodic table wants to achieve the octet. Octet, what it is? Octet. In the outermost shell, it must have 8 electrons. That is called octet. Okay. Now molecule one, what is molecule? Molecule is same elements combined to form molecule. Then here is hydrogen, which has 1 electron, and here is also hydrogen, which has 1 electron. They will share their electron and they will achieve noble gas configuration like helium, and they will be stable. Okay. Now come to the next example, like carbon. Just leave the carbon. Fluorine, how many electrons does fluorine have? Fluorine have 7 electrons in its outermost cells. 7 electron in its outermost cell, and it needs only 1 more electron, so it will share like this. You already studied in class 10th.
Yes, sir.
And this is FF, which achieve noble gas configuration like neon. Neon has 8 more. Just see, individually fluorine has 7 electrons, but by the formation of bonding with another fluorine, it has 8 electrons. One and it's 7 electrons. That is that sum is 8 electron. It also has 7 and add 1 is equal to 8 electrons. Okay. Now come to the next question, which is next example, which is CH4. CH4 in its outermost shell, 4 electrons are here, and hydrogen has 1 electron in the outermost shell. Hydrogen wants to complete its duplet. What is duplet? In it, it just need 2 electron to achieve noble gas configuration, that is duplet. And if someone achieving 8 electron in their outermost shell, that is called octet. Then it will achieve duplet. Every hydrogen will achieve duplet. And what about carbon? Carbon already has 4 electrons. Now it will share, it will take hydrogen's electron 5, 6, 7, and then 8, and it will make a bond like CH4 like this. Just see, what I want to tell you is that when same elements combine, they form molecule. When same elements combine, they form molecule. We can write FF like F2, and we can write HH into H2. We can also write O2, O3, P4, P4, S8, N2. Okay. Whenever same elements combine, they form molecule, or whenever different elements combine to form a new product, that is called compound. This is the difference between molecule and compound. When two or more different elements combine, they form molecule. Okay, just like CaCO3, calcium carbonate, calcium oxide, H2O, HF. Okay, different elements combine, then they form more compound, and same elements combine, then they form molecule. Got it? Siddhant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just write it and tell me to change the slide.
Yes, sir. Right.
Okay, write it. Akars and Etasham.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. In last lecture, what we have studied?
Last lecture you were teaching about the
Gay-Lussac's law.
yeah.
So we reached Gay-Lussac's law.
We
Gay-Lussac's
finished that. You told to read the other law and come.
law. Okay, which is Avogadro law.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Arsalan. Okay. Arsalan done. Same elements combine, then they form molecule. Different elements combine, then they form compound. Done.
Yes, sir. Done.
Very good. Just write this. This is called electron dot structure, that we already read about it in class 10th, and we will study in details in class in coming chapters like chemical bonding. This is more, one, two or more. Arsalan done. Have you written it out? Yes, sir. Okay. Siddhant done.
Yes, sir.
Siddhant.
Sir, I'm done.
Okay. I couldn't hear you. Okay.
Yes, sir. Actually, my network issue.
Okay. Okay. No problem. Just write a law. You can easily understand it. Siddhant and Arsalan. Avogadro law. What is Avogadro law? First, we will write its statement. What does it say? And then I will explain it to you. Just write with me. According to this law, equal volumes of all gases at the same temperature and pressure should contain equal number of molecules. Just write it and tell me so that I will start explaining it. Equal volume of all gases at the same temperature and pressure should contain equal number of molecules. If we change the temperature or pressure, it may affect the volume or molecules. Sam?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. Akash?
Done, sir. Done, sir.
Siddharth, after writing, you can write it in chat box too. If your net is not working properly. Arsalan, done? Okay. Siddhant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Just see, if I have a room to teach for students, it's a classroom. Just take an example, and its volume is 1,000 meter cube. Let's say 1,000 meter cube, and its capacity volume is actually capacity. Okay, volume is actually capacity. It has capacity to hold or to arrange as students. That is 50 students. How many students? 50 students. Now, if I am expanding my class like this, 2,000 meter cube. I just arranged the next class, which is 2,000 meter cube in volume. How many students can sit here? For the same condition is same. The bench is same. Everything is same. I just increase the volume, and according to the volume, the bench is also increased. So how many students can sit here in this classroom? In the new classroom, how many students will sit easily?
Sir, 100.
Siddhant, how many students will sit? 100 students easily, because 1,000 meter cube, in 1,000 meter cube I can arrange I can arrange 50 students. Then for 2,000 meter cube, how many students will be arranged? 100 students. That means according to this, volume is directly proportional to number of moles. I just took an example of the students, but in atoms and we talk in number of moles. Okay, so for this statement, that this means volume is directly proportional to number of moles. If we increase the volume, then number of moles can also be increased. Okay, For take another example. If this is a volume 1 liter and here only 10 atoms are present, then and here the volume is 2 liter, how many atoms? 20 atoms can be arranged or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can also say it in moles. If it is 5 liter and it has only capacity of 5 mole, and if I am expanding this place to 15 liter, how many number of moles will be present here?
15, sir.
15 mole. So easy. So this statement tells us that volume is directly proportional to number of moles. Condition is that the temperature must be same, the pressure must be same. If you will change this temperature, this condition, basically temperature and pressure, it might affect this. Okay.
So because if
Sir.
pressure exerts, we can insert more students there. If pressure is more, then more students can be there. So it will be,
No, the volume will be decreased, and if the volume will decrease, number of moles will also be decreased. Okay. Pressure is just, don't think if 3 students can sit here easily,
you can arrange 5 students.
then that means you are letting 5 or 6 students to just write it. This is done. It's an example, you can write it or not, it's your choice. If you are done with this, just let me change the slide.
Done, sir.
Okay. Arsalan, Akarsh, Siddhant.
Oh, 1 second, sir. 1 second.
Okay, take your time. No problem. It's a very important chapter that the main topic will start soon about atomic mass. Then we will come to mole concept, and mole concept will be in every part of physical chemistry. Even it will come less in organic or inorganic, but in physical chemistry we always talk about moles. Sorry, moles, not moles. It's moles. Done, Siddhant?
Done, sir.
Yes, sir, done.
Okay, thank you. It's just an example, you don't need to write it. Should I clear the slide? Okay. Just see. Now we will talk about atomic theory. The first theory about atoms is given by John Dalton. That is given by John Dalton. He just gave us only theory, not model. Atomic model is given by J.J. Thomson, Rutherford, and then Bohr's model that we are studying in class 11. That is Bohr's model. Okay. Atomic theory, he doesn't explain it, just give a theory in which the first postulate is wrong. Postulate is something that he defined about, that he says about atom or theory. Matter consists of, you just write a topic, postulates of atomic John Dalton or atomic theory. Dalton's atomic theory. It is known as Dalton's atomic theory. And just write postulate of Dalton's atomic theory. Now, matter consists of indivisible atoms. The first postulate is wrong, that's why it was failed. Actually, after that, after this theory, some scientists discovered that atoms can be divided into its subatomic particle What is subatomic particle? Like electron, proton, neutron, it is all subatomic particle. Three subatomic particles present in an atom: electron, proton, and neutron. Okay, and we see that it can be divided into subatomic particle. That's why matter, this postulate is wrong, because he said that atom is that part of any matter which cannot be divided, but it can be divided into its subatomic particle: electron, proton, and neutron. Second theory is, second postulate basically, all atoms of a given element have identical properties, including identical mass, including identical mass. Atoms of different, you all can write with me, I will explain it. You atoms of different elements differ in mass, differ in mass. The third one is, I already told about it. Compounds are formed when atoms of different elements, when atoms of different elements combine in a fixed ratio, in a fixed ratio. Just write it and tell me, so that I will start explaining.
Sir, the second one, elements have identical properties of, what is the word?
Elements have identical properties, including identical
Okay,
mass.
okay.
We will soon, I will soon start using OneNote. There is some problem in my laptop, so that I cannot use OneNote. Then it will be, this problem will be solved. If you are done writing, then tell me. Aslan,
So done, sir.
okay. Yatasam,
7.
okay, take your time, no problem.
Done, sir.
Okay. Siddhant,
Yes, sir, done.
thank you. just see, the first postulate is wrong because I already explained it to you that if he said that atom is that part of any matter which cannot be divided, but after this theory some scientists discovered that atom can be divided into its subatomic particle. What is that subatomic particle? Electron, proton, and neutron. Now come to the second postulate, which is quite sure all atoms of given elements have identical properties, okay, including identical mass. Just see hydrogen. Just take hydrogen from anywhere in this universe, okay, you will get hydrogen that has atomic number that will have atomic number equals to 1, and mass number or atomic mass number or atomic mass that will be equal to 1. Okay, 1 AMU. You can say we will discuss about it. What is AMU? AMU is atomic mass unit. Atomic mass unit. So the second postulate says that an element will have fixed atomic number and will have fixed mass number if the element is same from anywhere. Okay, and different elements like if you are taking chlorine and comparing it from hydrogen, it will have different atomic number and different mass number, 17 and 35 you can say. Okay, so it has atomic number that is denoted by Z is equal to 17, and mass number denoted by, or atomic mass number denoted by A, that is 35.5. Got it? Is there any doubt in this? Same elements will have same atomic number and same mass number. Different elements will have different mass number, different atomic number. Okay, Arsalan, Etasam.
Sir, clear.
Okay, thank you. Next,
Yes,
compounds are formed when atoms of different elements combine in a fixed ratio.
So the second was also wrong, right?
Second, what you just said?
Second postulate of Dalton's atomic theory was wrong.
No, only the first one. Only the
Okay.
first one. Only the first one. That's why I just made it a crisscross. Okay. Second is good, correct, because he said that same elements will have same atomic number and same mass number. Just suppose you are taking oxygen from Delhi, you are taking oxygen from America, you are taking oxygen from Europe. You will see it has atomic number 8, 8, 8, and mass number 16, 16, 16. It will have same because we are taking about same atom, same element. And
Yes,
if
sir.
you have different elements, then it will have different properties, different atomic number, different mass number. Got it? Etasam?
Yes, I got it.
Now, I just defined in the previous slide that different elements combine to form compounds. And here is the definition. Compounds are formed when atoms of different elements combine. Okay. Here is the definition. In a fixed ratio, what does it say? In a fixed ratio, whenever you are making a compound, a specific compound, you are preparing a specific compound, the ratio of elements must be same. If you change the ratio, you will have a new product. Just take an example. If you are taking hydrogen and oxygen, and it will produce water. And when it will produce water, if you are taking 2 gram of hydrogen and 16 gram of oxygen, then it will be H2O, that is H2 and O. And if you are taking hydrogen again, and if you are taking oxygen, but you are changing the ratio, like you are taking 2 gram hydrogen and 32 gram oxygen, and you will see in the next chapters, it will produce H2O2, that is hydrogen peroxide. Then where is the ratio? I will show you the ratio. Okay, here is hydrogen, O2 and H2. Now see the ratio. Here the combination ratio by mass 2:16, which is equal, we can also write 2:16 equals to 1:8. Whenever hydrogen and oxygen combine in this ratio, then water is formed. Okay, and whenever this ratio is changed, like I just changed the ratio 2:16, 32, which is equal to 1:16, and I change this ratio by mass, and the product is changed. So for a specific compound, the ratio must be, the proportion must be constant. Okay, got it? And the here is the definition of compound. When different elements combine, compound is formed. Okay, Siddhant?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So if you want to write it, you can write it. Otherwise, I will move to the next topic, which is atomic mass. Okay, let me ask a question. How many of you knows the atomic mass up to 20 of every element? From 1 to 20, how many of you can tell the atomic mass of every element from 1 to 20, hydrogen to calcium? Or I should
Sir,
just
I know.
write it? And that's good, very good. Akarsh, what do you think? Do you know? Etasam?
Sir, I know, but not perfectly. So many
Not
mistakes.
perfectly. Okay, I will help you. Akarsh?
Sir, no, sir.
No, sir. Very good, very good. And Arsalan, what about you? No, sir. Okay, no problem. If you are done with this, just tell me. Done?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Siddhant, Arsalan, Etasam.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just move to the next topic. Just write atomic mass. And whatever I'm writing, you also write with me. Because I'm writing the atomic mass from 1 to 20. Hydrogen. If I'm writing the only the symbol, Akars, will you be comfortable if I'm writing only the symbol?
Yes, sir. It's fine, sir.
Okay. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, potassium, and then calcium. It will be very helpful. Okay, and very good, Siddhant. You already know about it. Atomic mass 1, 4, lithium 7, beryllium 9, boron 10, carbon 12, nitrogen 14, oxygen 16. Okay, 16, fluorine 19. Sorry, nitrogen 18, or here it will be 20. Fluorine 20. Fluorine 9. Its atomic number 9, 19. Neon 20, sodium 23, magnesium 24, aluminum 27, silicon 28, phosphorus 31, sulfur 32, chlorine 35.5, argon 40, calcium potassium 39, and calcium 40. You will see there is a difference only. And what about its atomic number? So I arranged the atomic number from 1 to 20. Its atomic number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and here it is 20. Okay, so you will see, what you will see is 2 to the 4, 5 to the 10. It will be double, atomic number double. Double of atomic number is mass number. And come to this neon. 10 to the 20, magnesium 24, silicon 28, sulfur 32, and here it is. And the difference, not double of the atomic number, is because only of the number of neutrons, is only because of number of neutron. Okay. So from where these all atomic masses come, we will discuss about it. This is 15. Hydrogen is the only element which has no neutron. And maximum it will be greater, not less. Like atomic number of lithium 3, then its double is 6, and it will be 7, not 5. Etisam, done.
Done, sir.
Okay, Akarsh. Siddhant, you already know it.
Done, sir. Done, sir.
Arsalan.
Done, sir.
Okay, just see from where all these masses comes. Initially, scientists does not have so much technology to measure the atomic masses of each element, so they take a reference element. First, they take hydrogen, but it couldn't work out, so they just leave hydrogen and come to carbon. Carbon, cause it is moderately reactive. That's why they decided to take carbon, and carbon has, in the all periodic table, the carbon has maximum number of compounds that exist. Okay, so it's easy to take carbon as a reference element, and they define a unit for atomic mass, that is AMU. And its full form is atomic mass unit. Okay, so now we will define 1 AMU. So 1 AMU is defined as the mass exactly equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per liter. 1 gram per liter is equal to 1 gram per 1/12 of the mass of one carbon 12 atom. What is carbon 12 atom? Actually, there is isotopes of carbon. That is, do you know what is isotopes?
Yes, sir. The elements which have the same atomic number but a different atomic mass.
Different atomic mass.
Yeah.
In nature, this C12 exists 99 point something percent, and it decreases in this order. Okay, this is isotopes of carbon C12. So it already defined that we are taking 1/12 of C12 atom. Okay, not C13 and not C14. So come to this point, 1 AMU is defined as the mass exactly equal to 1/12 of the mass of one carbon 12 atom, and 1 AMU is equal to 1.66 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 gram. Just write it. Nowadays, mu is replaced with u. Same meaning is same, but u is called as unified mass. Done. We can also say that compound is molecule. For the for in numerical purpose, we use compound as a molecule. It will we will talk about it in the next slide.
Done.
Done. Siddhant.
Done.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay. This is 1 mu. Remember it, 1.66 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 gram. Now come. Just say, as we write it all, this is all in mu as well as in gram. I will just prove it. Mu and gram will be equal numerically, only numerically. Just see. If I am talking about carbon, and here mass of carbon is 12. Mass of carbon is 12. Okay, and 12 mu I can write, or 12 I can write, and in gram it will be 12 into 1.66 into 10. I was going right. 1.66 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 gram.
Yes, sir.
I can write it or not, because 1 AMU is equal to 1.66 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 gram. And
Yes.
we know that mass of carbon is 12 AMU or 12 VU, that we can easily convert into gram 12 into 1.66 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 gram. But what does this AMU represent? This AMU represents that it is mass of one carbon atom. It is mass of one carbon atom. Only one carbon atom. Wherever mu or u is defined, that means one atom, one molecule. Is that clear? Siddhant, Tasam, Akarsh.
Sir, can you repeat again?
Okay. Just see, whenever only AMU is defined, it means that only one atom of carbon, it is talking about only one atom of carbon, mass of only one atom of carbon. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It is important because when we write 12 gram, it means something else other than mass of one atom.
Yes.
But it will be numerically equal. I will prove it. What I just said is that whenever mu is defined, that means only one atom. We are talking about only one atom, or we are talking about only one molecule. Okay.
Yes, sir.
If I'm writing O2 here, and I'm writing the mass of one oxygen atom is 16.
Yes,
Mass of one oxygen atom is 16 and 32 AMU. Okay, and if I want to convert it into gram, that is 32 into 1.66 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 gram. Will it be or not? Siddhant,
Yes.
are you getting it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just see. I can write 32 mu as 32 or 32 u. But what is it? An atom? O2 is an atom or molecule?
Molecule, sir. Molecule.
Molecule. So I am writing mass of one molecule of O2. Only one molecule of O2. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Siddhant, now come to the next, HNO3. Okay. What is the mass of HNO3? One molecule of mass of HNO3. We know that what we do is sum of individual atomic masses. What is the mass of hydrogen? 1. What is the mass of nitrogen? 14. What is the mass of oxygen? 16. But here is here 3 oxygen is present. That's why we will multiply from 3 and we will get 15 plus 48. That is equal to 63 AMU. If I am writing AMU, I can also write 63 U. And what does it mean? It means that mass of one molecule of, tell me.
One molecule of HNO3, sir.
HNO3. And I can convert it into grams. 63 into 1.66 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 gram. Siddhant, got it or not?
Yes, sir, got it.
Yeah. So we can also say that you know that the atom is very, very, very small. So mass will be if we are talking about one atom of mass, that will be around this. If you are converting into gram for understanding, better understanding, if you multiply 12 into 1.66 and 10 raised to the power minus 24, that means 0.000000, and then at the end you will get something, some number that you will neglect it. If you have some masses to take and run like this, 0.000020 times, and then gram, will it affect you or not?
Yes, sir.
Will it affect you?
No, sir. No, sir. It will not.
It will not, cause it is 0.00000000 something. At the end you will get it won't affect you. Okay, just write it, then I will explain you again, and it will be crystal clear.
Yes, sir.
You just don't need to write this. You only need to write this. If you have already written it, just tell me to change the slide. Done.
Done, sir.
1 second. 1 second.
Okay, take your time, Siddhant. And
Yes, sir,
Arsalan.
done.
Okay. Because only you left to write.
Done, sir. Done.
Very good. Arsalan, are you done? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just write it. I will tell you the difference between AMU, or you can say U, and word gram. Okay. If it is done, then tell me.
It's 1.66, right? 63 into 1.66.
You can say 1.66, and in many books, if you round, just round it off, then you will get 1.67. Okay, because it's going like 1.666. If you
Okay.
just round it off, 10 raised to the power minus 20.
Yes.
Okay. In many books, it will be written like 1.67, 1.66. It doesn't affect the value. Done.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
Just come to the next point, which is scientist has discovered or just calculated that 1.66 or 1.67 into 10 raised to the power minus 24 numerically equal to 1.6.022 into 10 raised to the power 23. If you want to calculate it, you can calculate it. It is numerically equal, or you can write 6.022 into 10 raised to the power 23 is equal to 1.67 into 10 raised to the power minus ka 24. You can calculate it. It will be equal to this and it will be equal to this. Got it? Just write it and I'll explain it. If you want to calculate it, just calculate it. 1 divided by 6.022 and you will get the number.
done.
Done. Akarsh, Siddhant,
Done, sir.
Arsalan. Arsalan.
Done, sir.
Okay, thank you. Just let me give you some questions, then we will discuss about it. Okay, come to the question. Calculate numbers of atom. Calculate number of atoms of following. Atoms of following. A part is 52 AMU of helium. B part is 96 MU of oxygen. C part is 140 MU of nitrogen. D part is 96 MU of O2. Okay. If you don't get it, just tell me. I will explain the first one.
So can you explain the first time?
Okay, just see. In mole concept, we always generally apply unitary method. Okay, just see, it is talking about helium, and we know that mass of one helium atom is 4. Mass of one helium atom is 4 mu or not?
Yes, sir.
One atom of helium. Just see. Calculate number of atoms. So I just put the 4 mu and on the left hand side, and it is on right hand side that we are calculating about. 4 mu means one atom of mass of one atom of helium. 1 mu equals to number of atoms is like 1/4 into atom of helium. Yes or not?
Yes, sir.
Just see, in how many mu we have to calculate? 52 mu. 52 mu is equal to 1/4 into 52. That is equal to how many atoms? 13 atoms of helium. Yes or not?
Yes, sir.
Mohammed? Etisam?
Understood. So, yes, sir. Understood.
Easy. Siddhant?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Done.
Okay, very good. Arsalan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you have any doubt, any kind of doubt, then tell me and solve the B, C, and D. You have to know what is the mass of O, what is the mass of N. I already wrote it in the previous slides. It's wrong. The C part you have sent Muhammad Etasam is wrong. These Siddhant, I am waiting for your answer. Just tell me the answer of B. Very good, Etasam.
Thank you, sir.
Akers, Arsalan. Any other answer? Siddhant? Arslan? No, Arslan needs 96 mu. 90, we have to calculate the mass of number of oxygen atoms in 96 mu. Sir, is second 6. Is second 6. Yes. Okay, just see. Next question is 96 mu of O. Here it is given 96 AMU of O. We need to find number of atoms of oxygen in 96 AMU. We already know that in 16 AMU, there is one atom of oxygen. One atom of oxygen. Then in 1 AMU, we can calculate 1/16 atom of oxygen. Then we can easily calculate in 96 AMU, how many atoms of oxygen? 1/16 into 96. Then what will it be? 6 atoms of oxygen. Siddhant?
Yes, sir. I got 6 only.
Oh, very good. Now we will talk about 140 mu. It's so easy. You can also write nitrogen. If I'm talking about nitrogen, that means 14 mu per atom of nitrogen. For short trick, you can also write like this. And for how many, this is per atom, and we need to calculate the per atom. So we just divide 140 mu by 14 mu. Mu say it will cancel mu and it will be 10 atoms. 10 atoms of nitrogen. Is it correct, Siddhant, Tasam, Akarsh, and Arsalan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Akarsh?
Yes, sir. Yes,
No.
sir.
Okay. Arsalan done. Should I move to the next part, D? Okay. Just see. D is telling that 96 AMU of O2. Just tell me, what is O2? It is an atom or molecule. It is an atom or molecule.
Molecule, sir.
It is molecule. It is molecule. So if I am writing what is the mass of this molecule, 32 mu.
Yes,
32 mu. That means 32 mu is equal to 1 molecule of O2. 1 molecule of O2. That means 1 AMU is equal to 1 by 32 molecule of O2. And what I need to calculate? How many atoms? Okay. We have to first find out how many molecules are present. So 1 by 32 into 96 molecule of O2. That means 3. Just see the difference. Molecules of O2. Just see the difference. In 96 mu, we got 3 molecule of O2. We got 3 molecule of O2. And in 1 molecule of O2, how many oxygen is present? Concentrate here. Here it is, molecule is given. That's why we are finding number of molecules. We cannot find directly number of atoms. We just have to find number of molecule, and we have to see how many atoms are present in a molecule and how many molecules we have. Just see, in O2 molecule, 2 atoms are present. 2 atoms are present. 2 atoms of oxygen. Just see. In 1 molecule of O2, 2 atoms are present. So in 3 molecules of O2, how many atoms are present? Siddhant?
6, sir. 6.
6 atoms or not? Akars?
Yes, sir.
If there is any difficulty to understand it, please tell me. I will let you know again. I will explain it again. Arsalan?
Done, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Should I change the slide next to the?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Siddhant, just see. I'm giving next example. Okay. Question. Just see the question. How many atoms of hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen in 126 AMU of HNO3? I will explain it first, then you will write, and I will give you another question. Then we will move on. Just see. It is talking about HNO3. First, we will calculate mass of HNO3. Mass of HNO3, when we will calculate, it will come about 63 mu. Hydrogen 1, nitrogen 14, it will be 15, oxygen 16. But there is 3 atoms of oxygen is present. 3 into 16, that is 48. 48 plus 15, that is equal to 63 mu. And we will treat it as molecule. Now, 63 mu means 1 molecule of HNO3. 63 mu means 1 molecule of HNO3, isn't it? Tell me, Siddhant.
Sir, can you repeat?
Just answer my questions, please. Okay. Mass of HNO3 equals to 63 mu or not?
Yes, sir.
Siddhant?
Yes, sir, it's correct.
Okay, just see. Mass of HNO3 is equal to 63 mu. And how many HNO3 is present? Only one now. So I can write 63 mu is equal to 1 molecule of HNO3. I can write or not?
Yes, sir.
Just see. Now, 1 mu molecule of HNO3 is present is this. And in how many mu I have to calculate? 126. So I just need to 126 mu is equal to 1 by 63 into 126 molecule of HNO3. So we cannot find the atoms directly, so we have to calculate molecule, and here we will get 2 molecule of HNO3. Okay, if I am asking you a question, okay, just focus on the question. If I am writing O, how many oxygen atoms you are looking at? How many oxygen atom you are looking at? 1 or 2 or 4 or infinite?
Three. Asked me.
No, I am just talking about another example. How many oxygen atoms? Only one. If I'm
Yes,
writing
sir.
only one
Yes, sir,
oxygen
one
atom, there is one oxygen atom. If I'm writing 2O, that means this represents O, not 20. This is 2O. That represents 2 oxygen atom. Yes or no?
Yes.
Just see the difference. If I'm writing H2, how many molecule of H2 is you are looking at? How many molecules of H2?
One molecule.
One molecule.
One.
Yes, sir. One molecule.
One molecule. H2 is molecule. If I'm writing only H2, that is one molecule.
Yeah, one molecule.
If I'm writing Siddhant, how many molecule of H2 you are looking at? Siddhant, answer me please.
5.
No. H2 means one molecule. 10 H2 means 10 molecule of H2. 5
Yes,
H2 means 5 H2, 5 molecules of H2.
Yes,
Are
sir.
you getting my point?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Got.
Okay. Just see. What we just calculate is HNO3. Just see HNO3. Here is how many molecules of HNO3 is present?
One, sir.
Siddhant, one
One.
molecule of HNO3 is present.
Yes.
In one molecule of HNO3, just answer it very carefully and concentrate it. In one molecule of HNO3, how many hydrogen is present?
One, sir.
One hydrogen.
One hydrogen. In one molecule of HNO3, okay, nitric acid, how many nitrogen is present? One.
One, yes.
One.
In one molecule of oxygen, in one molecule of HNO3, how many oxygen is
3.
present? 3. So answer my question. In one molecule of HNO3, there is 3 oxygen atom. Then if 2 molecule of HNO3 is present, then how many oxygen?
6.
6. Then in 2 molecule of HNO3, how many nitrogen atom?
So what?
No, I just asked you how many nitrogen atoms are present in 2 molecules of HNO3. Got it, everyone? Siddhant?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Then we can write first, if the question had asked you number of atoms, then you just have to see how many molecules. In one molecule, 5 atoms. In one molecule, 5 atoms or not? How
Yes,
many?
sir.
5 atoms, 3 atoms of oxygen, 1 atom of nitrogen, and 1 atom of hydrogen. In one molecule, 5 atoms are present, and I calculated 2 molecule of HNO3. Then total atoms are 10 atoms.
Yes, sir.
And if you have to, if you have a question in which separately asked you number of oxygen atoms, then we have to see in how many atoms are present in one molecule. 3 oxygen atoms. For 2 molecules, 3 into 2 is equal to 6 atoms. Number of oxygen hydrogen atoms. In one molecule, it is 1 present. Then 2 molecule, it is 2. Number of nitrogen atom will be also 2. Is it clear or not?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Clear.
Clear.
Yes, sir. Now
Okay,
clear.
just write it, and I will give another question. And you just have to answer all these questions, like number of atoms, number of oxygen atoms, if oxygen is present, number of hydrogen atom, number of sulfur atoms, everything. If you're done writing, then tell me.
Yes, done.
Done, sir.
Done, sir.
Akash
Done, sir,
and
done, sir,
Siddhant.
done, sir.
Oh, Siddhant, done.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Just take an example. Calculate first number of atoms. B, number of atoms of hydrogen. Number of atoms sorry, first one is like this: number of atoms, total number of atoms, hydrogen, oxygen, and number of atoms of sulfur. If 490 mu of H2SO4 is given, just take your time and answer it wisely. I want answers from everyone. You can send the answer in chat box.
Sir, that is 490 AMU, right?
Yes, 490 AMU.
Okay.
Sir, is it correct?
You didn't send the chat. What is correct?
So just like an send to other thing.
Yes, yes. Hydrogen 10. First thing, just calculate the number of atoms first. That is total number of atoms. Number of atoms equals to 35. Okay, I will check it out. Any other answer? How many number of molecules? Mohammed?
1 molecule of H2SO4, sir. Sir, the final answer will be 5, sir. 5 molecules of H2SO4.
5 molecules of H2SO4.
The number of atoms will be 10. Total number of atoms, right? 35.
Okay, okay. Any other answer? Akars, Mohammed, Arsalan, and Siddhant. Just see, 490 AMU of H2SO4. Now, here it is given 490 AMU of H2SO4. First, we will calculate in 1 molecule of H2SO4 how many MU is present. Okay. See, what is the mass of hydrogen? 1. How many hydrogen atoms are present? 2. Plus sulfur, mass of sulfur 32. Mass of oxygen, there is only 1 sulfur. That's why you just need to multiply by 1 or not. It will be equal.
That's
Plus
16 into
mass
4.
of 16 into 4. And
Yeah,
you
yes.
will get 98 AMU. Now see the answer. In 98 AMU, 1 molecule of H2SO4. Molecule of H2SO4. Then we will calculate in 1 AMU, 1 by 98 molecule of H2SO4. Then in how many AMU? 4, we have to calculate in 490 AMU. So we just 498 into 490 AMU. This much molecule of H2SO4.
The answer will be 5, sir.
And it will be cancelled by 5.
5, yes.
That means 5 molecule of H2SO4. Now, come to the first question. Number of atoms. That means total number of atoms. In one molecule, how many atoms are present? 7 atoms. Then number of atoms. Just see. In one molecule, 7 atoms are present. Then in 5 molecules, how many atoms are present? 5 into 7, that is equal to 35 atoms.
Yes.
Now, number of hydrogen. In one molecule, 2 hydrogen atoms are present. Then in 5 molecules, number of hydrogen atoms equals to 2 into 5, that is equal to 5, 10 atoms. Just see, number of sulfur atoms. Number of sulfur atoms. In one molecule, 1 sulfur is present. In 5 molecule, how many sulfur is present? 1 into 5, we will say 5 atoms of sulfur. Now, number of oxygen atoms. In one molecule of sulfur, H2SO4, 4 oxygen are present. In one molecule, 4 oxygen. In 5 molecules, 5 into 4, that is equal to 20 atoms of oxygen. How many of you got it?
Sir, first I got it correct, number of atoms 35, but got confused and wrote 10.
Okay. Is there any doubt in this question? Siddhant, Akars, and Arsalan?
No, sir.
Clear,
Okay,
sir.
then just write it. If you are done, then tell me. Akars, Siddhant, Arsalan.
So once again, sir.
Okay, take your time. Just read the whole notes before the next class, and it will be easy. In the next class, we will do some questions on this topic, and we will discuss about grams.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, done, sir.
Okay, then you may leave class. Thank you so much. If there is any doubt, you may stay. Siddhant?
Done, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Siddhant, what about you?
Done, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.